Hey guys, James here. Welcome to episode 1 of A Warrior's Tale. I figured it was about time I launched since we've got a release just around the corner, so today I've brought you 5 things. I've got a small preview of the new sPvP map. I've got what happens if you take 5 Guardians into a tournament. I've got a small exploitable little dance glitch which may or may not be taken out of the game by before release. I've got a demonstration of why warriors make great roamers in sPvP and tournaments. And finally a little preview of one of the builds I've been using recently for PvP. So first of all, we've got the brand new sPvP map, A Raid on Capricorn. This is the first map to feature underwater combat, yet it's not actually exclusive to underwater. It actually has 2 land-based points and 1 underwater. So there is a bit of choice, and if you really don't like fighting underwater, the option is there for you. The point layout, you've actually got 2 next to the spawn points, well, reasonably near the spawn points that are relatively easy to defend, and the central point that sits between the 2 teams is the underwater one. Now on top of this, it's got 3 really interesting mechanics. First of all, you've got a cannon that sits on the edge of the map between the 2 land-based points. Now you can't actually fire this cannon unless you find some cannonballs. You have to pick up the cannonballs, you have to drag them back over to the cannon. It allows you to jump in it and do your best at shooting a chive and missing, and then he comes and kills you in a one-on-one. So it is good if you can hit the target. Next of all, you've got bottles of booze on the pirate ship. I don't know what the use and the application of these is going to be, but all they basically let you do is drink them and give you 3 seconds of invulnerability. I don't know how quick they are to pick up and put back down having drank them, so the real usefulness is going to come about, it's going to become clear after launch. Third of all is by far the best. It actually rewards you for controlling the underwater point with a couple of NPCs. And by a couple of NPCs I mean an army of hungry, massive, great white sharks. This is awesome. They are far too powerful for an NPC to sit in a map. They don't deal huge damage, but they don't take a lot of damage either, or at least they've got a lot of health. At the moment this allows players to defend that middle point very, very easily. I don't know if that's going to change a lot before launch, if they're going to take away a lot of the health or not, or reduce the damage or something like that, but at the moment they are very, very powerful. It's very easy to defend that point with 1 person from 2 or 3 others. So next of all, we've got what happens if you take 5 Guardians into a tournament. Now bearing in mind in the following footage, only one of us has ever played a Guardian before. I think it went reasonably well considering. This kind of basically came about because we were wondering just how powerful Guardian are. If they are that viable, could you actually play 5 of them and still get wins? Summary, yes, you can still get wins. Can you win a tournament with 5 Guardians that have never played before? Well, 4 Guardians that have never played before and 1 that has? Almost.
I've got one.
Destruction ending.
You have been knocked down! Look at how many swords are chasing that guy.
Fast as fuck.
We actually got through to the final round in a tournament, and this footage behind me is probably just in the 1st and 2nd round where we were playing against some moderate level teams. Now against the 3rd round teams, they actually got a bit more organised and started to fight back and do the right things, moving around a lot of the map and using the manoeuvrability of other teams. Because that's probably the thing the Guardian suffers with the most. There's no swiftness unless you specifically go out of your way to get it with runes and things like that. They are a slow moving class, particularly with a great sword spirit weapon build that we were using. So they are powerful, they can be beaten. Whether or not Guardian will be nerfed before launch, I have no idea. But if you want to see the full footage, look in the description, go over to PurgeTube, and all that footage is going up in the next couple of days. Next of all is just a little exploitable dancing glitch that we found last night, all credit to Shive on this one. The dance emote actually cuts off animations part way. Take for example 100 Blaze, if you're in the middle of swinging your sword and you hit /dance, it instantly stops and your character starts to throw one down. Not that important unless you've got moves which have their effect halfway through the animation and the second half is just recoil. Like the Guardian stab into the floor, put little shiny rocks on the floor and then struggle pulling the sword back out move. Now when Shive actually hit /dance partway through that after the marks are on the floor, he broke the animation off and it freed his character back up to run around. I don't know whether ArenaNet's going to get rid of this by launch or try and find a way to deal with it. maybe block that emote in combat. I have no idea. But if that doesn't happen, it might be the kind of thing you want to start macroing onto some of your abilities. Because if you don't, other people are going to within a few weeks. So yeah, there's that. Obviously, I wouldn't recommend using that. I do hope ArenaNet find a way around it, but it is going to get used if they don't get rid of it. Oh, point number 4 then. A little demonstration of why warriors make absolutely fantastic kind of floaters, or they move around and get stuck in all the big AoE battles in tournaments. So here's why.
Been going so well.
Finally then, I promised a preview of the build that I've been using to let all that silliness happen. Obviously you can see that I've switched off the Soldier's Amulet and back to the Berserkers. It is incredibly powerful, and now I've got a bit more comfortable with the warrior, I've got a bit more skill. It actually allows me to evade and other things like that to survive, rather than that toughness, that vitality that was previously letting me survive. So it is viable as long as you know what you're doing with the Greatsword. However, if you're going to get focus fired, you are still going to go down unless you have really, really good evasive capabilities. It's actually a Greatsword and Hammer build. The Hammer really giving you control and a little bit of a stun break, a little bit of a defensive aspect with the knockdowns, because you've got a 2-second knockdown, a 2-second stun, and a knockback, which gives you about a second and a half of damage mitigation from the target. So I'm going to leave you with a bit of footage of this build in action. I will not be releasing another video now really until launch, so a couple of days after launch I'll probably come with an update of how leveling's going and any tips, tricks, and really any new features I've seen along the way. So have fun, have a great launch, and for anyone that's playing on Desolation, I'll see you there.